Recently here in the UK, Pizza Hut decided to release a collaboration with KFC, creating the KFC popcorn, chicken and gravy pizza. And I saw this as someone on keto and thought, that's not fair, I want it. So then I went and devised my own version, which I will teach you how to do now. So we're going to take some chicken breast and we're going to marinate it overnight in some buttermilk. If you can't get hold of buttermilk, just take some regular milk, cup of it, and put that with a tablespoon of lemon and leave it for 5 minutes before you start marinating it. So we're going to take our totally clean scales out and our totally clean bowl. Ignore that little green thing, it's just from a salad that I had the day before, and obviously I'm not very thorough with washing. We're going to take 100 grams of mozzarella, throw that in there, 15 grams of coconut flour, 168 grams of almond flour, and we're going to put too much in and we're going to have to scrape some of that out because we were a little eager. 20 grams of whey protein going in there, flavourless, and give that a little mix with your small whisk. We're going to pour in 15 grams of coconut oil from our favourite mug, melted in the microwave. Give it another little mix before we realise we have totally forgotten to put in a teaspoon of baking powder and a teaspoon of xanthan gum, along with some salt and some garlic and some onion. Give that a little mix. And we're going to crack a couple of eggs in there. I'm going to be brave with this one and do it with one hand like a professional. We did it. We did it, boys. Got the 2 eggs in there. Now we're going to start mixing this with a whisk because that's a really stupid thing to do, and it's going to get all caught up in the whisk. And I should have used a wooden spoon. However, at this point I didn't want to do any more washing up. So once we get that sort of ready to go, we're going to start kneading it with the hands until we form a lovely ball of dough. We're going to take the oven, whack it on 200 degrees, and take the ball of dough, pop it on some greaseproof paper and pop some more greaseproof paper on top. Flatten it out with whatever you have, a rolling pin or a vodka bottle or whatever you seem to have lying around. Flatten that out. We've lost some footage, but we're going to flatten that out. Roll up the edges for some crust, and then we're going to throw that into the preheated oven for about 4 minutes, no longer, till the edges go brown. Time to make the butter, so we're going to throw in well, that's half a stick, but you're going to want a quarter of a stick of butter, and you're going to want a teaspoon of xanthan gum. You're going to not want the heat to be too hot, and then you're going to slowly stir in some stock, which I've made from 1 beef cube, 1 chicken cube, and half the recommended amount of water. I've actually used the recommended amount here, and that was too much. For a browner gravy, you're going to want to use less. So now we're going to do the chicken, setting up a little breading station here. We're going to sieve some coconut flour into the jar, whatever things you have lying around. I've got a jar there and a Tupperware and another bowl. So another couple of eggs, the egg wash for the chicken there, being careful not to get any shell in. Not as brave this time with the hands. Give that a little whisk. And what we've done here in the third bowl is we've got some pork scratchings. Now the dry ones are better, the ones with less fat on. And we're going to crush them up, and then we're going to add some garlic salt, we're going to add some onion and some oregano and some hot paprika. Give that a little whirl, and you have your breading. Take some greaseproof paper, and we're going to begin the breading process, taking a piece of chicken that's been marinated for 24 hours, putting it in the coconut flour, drenching it in egg, before using the other hand to get that nice and covered in breadcrumbs thereafter. And we're going to do that with as many bits of chicken as you have. I've used 2 chicken breasts, whereas in hindsight I should have used 1, because 2 was far too much. I ended up with a lot of leftovers. So there we are, that's all your bits of chicken. I've made it quite large, as you can see. You can make it smaller if you want to be more true to the original. And 10 minutes, so no more, that'll be done. Obviously it's going to go back in the oven. So we're going to take our base from earlier, we're going to whack the gravy on there, nice and gelatinous and gloopy. Spread that out. You're going to take your remaining mozzarella from the bag, assuming you've got a 250 gram bag like I have, And then we're going to start placing the chicken on there. Now, I cannot stress enough, you wanted to put the red onion on here first. I've chosen red onion instead of sweet corn because it's more keto and I think it's tastier. But I've done it after, so that was a bad move, as you will see. Yeah, definitely should have put those on first, but that's okay because we're going to take this and pop that back in the oven for another 10 minutes or so. And once that's done, pop it out, nice golden brown, all the mozzarella is melted, and there we are. We can cut and enjoy. Honestly, I think this looks better than the original, and it's low carb, relatively guilt-free. Okay, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please give the video a like. This is going to be the first, so please feel free to subscribe, hit the bell just in case you want to see any more wacky keto recipes, and leave a comment. Why not?